purchasing an iGuide eye tracking system. Once you've purchased it, you'll receive very soon your very own iGuide, and it will come in a box that looks like this. What I want to do with this video is walk you through setting up the iGuide for the first time, tell you a few things about the setup. There will be other videos to come that talk to you about calibration and obviously analyzing your results once you've tested users. So let's go through the box here, and when you open it up, you're going to see on top or in the box someplace the CD that includes the iGuide software. When you put that into your machine, whether it's Windows or Mac, it will auto install for you. There will be a user agreement that's very standard, and that's the very first thing you want to do is install the software. On the back of this is some helpful information called Getting Started or Need More Help, and we encourage you to go through, because what I just said, that very first step is right there in order, and there's 7 steps that will guarantee for you that you will get this set up exactly the way you need to. They cover very basic things, such as the other thing that you see in this box as you've opened it up in addition to the software is the wireless USB DVR, which you will take and load onto your machine after loading in the software. It's got a cap on it. You remove it and you put it into your USB slot, wherever that is. That's going to allow your camera or your hardware to communicate with the computer. The software goes first, this goes next, and this nice Getting Started will walk you through that. Getting Started will also tell you about screen resolution. You can use this with a lot of different screen resolutions, but we've determined that the best screen resolution is 1280 by 1024 or lower. What we've also determined is that if your screen is too low or too high, it can affect your accuracy when you're testing. So we give you some tips on how to deal with that and try to get it at basically a 90-degree angle. This is pretty good for me. This would work right here. What you also will see on this Getting Started is that at some point you're going to need to find for yourself, purchase at the store, 3 AAA batteries. We recommend highly that you do not use non-rechargeable, but you purchase rechargeable AAA batteries because you can just charge them. What we know from our own testing is that these will run for about 3 or 4 hours, and then you'll need to replace out and recharge and put additional batteries in. But 3 or 4 hours will cover most testing for you. So I have my 3 AAA batteries. I've plugged in my wireless USB DVR, and now I've taken out the last most important item from the box, and that is the iGuide headset. Now, don't be alarmed if it's like this, because it's supposed to be, and this is a little bit loose. Again, that's okay because we've designed it to have some flexibility. So the first thing you'll want to do is put this in a position where you can get it tight. Now, you're going to see a little nut there on top of the battery case, and when I'll put the batteries in a second. That nut can easily be hand tightened. So I can twist it with a hand. Now, if you feel like your hand's not strong enough or your fingers aren't strong enough, you can use a wrench and find a wrench that fits there. You don't want to tighten it too much because you don't want to break it, but if you feel like you don't have hands strong enough to do that, you could use a small wrench to tighten it. But typically you can hand tighten it. So I've just done that now, and I'm going to pull out the camera away from the battery case, and you'll notice the LED that's designed also so that it can be mobile while you're doing your testing, and then the camera itself can sometimes be loose and not connected well here, and those can be tightened as you go through. So I've got it set up the way it would typically look. Here's the strap that you'll see. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open from the back the case where the batteries go. And I mentioned I have 3 rechargeable AAAs. They go simply into here, like so. And I'm going to put them in, and then I'm going to slide back on this battery case. And it's got a little thing on here, and you probably can't see, but it says open, and clearly you would slide that back the other way. Of the people in the office, I'm the worst at doing this. Okay, so I've slid it back on. Now, that's pretty much it. The last thing that I would tell you about, and you see it's loose for me again, so I'm going to tighten it one more time here, so it'll be nice and tight so it doesn't move. There you go. That's pretty good. So that's not going to move around very much for me now. And you can see here in a second when I put it on how it will work. At the very bottom of the battery case is an on-off switch. So when you're finally ready to go, you've got your software in, you've turned capture on for the first time, which another video will show you about how to work here in a second, and this is in. When you turn on the on-off switch, it will give you a picture on the screen, and that's when you know it's working the way you want to work it. A couple of things just to mention about this setup. Once you have it tightened the way you want it set up, this can go on in a very typical way like this. and then you can adjust the camera. The nice thing about this armature is very adjustable. You can move it in all sorts of different directions. I could put it on just like this, get the camera tightened and put it right here. If I have a glasses wearer or somebody that needs lighting, I can move this around and adjust it so that it's ideal in illuminating their pupil. Sometimes we'll see people shift this over a little bit like this and put it so that this is more to the side, which is okay, and not so much in their vision. We have also experimented with moving it all the way over like this and moving it up like so. And again, this is why this is adjustable here. I can move it and then readjust it back into a spot that works. You can even conceivably turn this upside down like so and adjust it and then slide it back into a different sort of place. So there's different ways you can do it and adjust it however you want to. This will come loose as you do it. That's okay. We want it to come loose because that means we can then tighten it back in a position that's ideal for us. So that's basically the setup to this point. You'll notice the strap is adjustable. You have a couple of options there. You can put it on somebody's head and tighten it that way, or you can kind of guess. If you're working with users that are younger with smaller heads, we've tested all the way down to age 3, it might be best to go ahead and try to get some idea of what the size should be before you put it on. Then it'll be easier to adjust then. But the idea of this strap is that it's going to make it very secure once it goes on the head. So I think that covers everything that goes through the setup, the steps 1 through 7. The other videos to come are going to tell you what to do once you have it all turned on and see the picture and you can begin the calibration process. They'll help you with setting it up so you have the light just right and what happens when you do your calibration. And there will be another video even after that where you look at how to analyze the results. I strongly encourage you to look at all these videos, to follow these steps. It's going to help you a great deal. If these don't all help you, if you still have additional questions, we have our support forum that I encourage you to go to, and you can ask your questions and get answers there. We promised, and we'll keep that promise, that if you ask us a question, we're going to get you some kind of answer that works for you in 24 hours or less. So this is the first of those videos, taking iGuide right out of the box and getting it set up. And I'm Brian Still, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of GrinBath.